morning. Today is Thursday, 18th January 2018. I'm Ebony Brandon. These are this morning's top stories. Nationally, the police are hunting down a house-breaking violent sexual predator. Internationally, Egypt's President Sisi is expected to run for office again this year. And in sport, British tennis number one Joanna Konta has been knocked out of the Australian Open. We also have today's weather and Carib update. Now for a look at the news developments in detail. Reports of the recent sexual assault of a Central Bastille woman have been confirmed by police, who are now on the hunt for the perpetrator. Based on available information, a neighbor heard screams from the woman's home and alerted authorities. It was later uncovered that at about 10 p.m., the attacker entered the home and initially attempted to rob the woman of her jewelry and money. He then threatened to shoot her before sexually assaulting her. The police are appealing to persons who may have information about the attack to contact the Special Victims Unit at the Bastille Police Station at telephone number 465-2241, the nearest police station, or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477. Meanwhile, faced with yesterday's homicide in Nevis and the violent sexual assault of the Bastille homeowner, police are still holding out hope that they will be able to reduce the incidence of gun-related, violent, and other major crimes in the Federation this year. During the unveiling of the police's 2018 strategic plan earlier this week, Commissioner Quealy said preliminary 2017 statistics are encouraging, as, in his view, they provide evidence that the six-point plan for the reduction of homicides and violent crimes 2015 is working. The six-point plan covered targeted operations, crime prevention strategies, intelligence-led policing, collaboration with other agencies, engagement of stakeholders, and continuous training and improvement in administration. According to Quealy, while crime detection rate remains a sore spot for the force, there were decreases in the number of murder and manslaughter offences in 2017, from 31 in 2016 to 23 in 2017. That corresponds to a 26% decline. There were also decreases registered in the number of shootings with intent cases, which fell from 26 in 2016 to 17 in 2017, a 35% drop. Attempted murder offences totaled 37 in 2016, which fell to 28 in 2017, a 24% decline. There was also a decrease in the number of incidents of wounding with the use of a firearm, which was down by 20%, while the number of illegal firearms recovered by the police rose from 36 in 2016 to 47 in 2017. The improved data was credited to greater police presence across the country and more emphasis being placed on community policing. While the statistics showed improvement in some areas, there was a 26% increase in malicious damage last year compared to the same period over 2016. Similarly, robberies were up 42% over the same comparative period. Sexually related crimes and break-ins both went down by 2% in 2017. In international developments this morning, Egypt is preparing for its next presidential poll in 2 months, but the outcome already appears to be a foregone conclusion. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi looks likely to be re-elected. Mohamed Arau reports.
Even before he entered politics, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, as head of the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces, which governed after the fall of Hosni Mubarak, showed adeptness as a political tactician.
We will not agree, approve, or allow Egypt to enter a dark tunnel of conflict or internal fighting or civil war or sectarian strife or the collapse of the state's institutions.
But almost 4 years into his presidency, many are disillusioned with his leadership. There is concern it's a return to the autocratic security state that prevailed under Mubarak, rendering the Tahrir Square revolution only a brief experiment in democracy.
The system is all set up for him to both run and win. I think the more interesting question is to what extent are they going to play with the Constitution, amend the Constitution to give him additional terms beyond this next 4-year stretch. But there's no question that he'll run in this round, and there's also no question that he'll win because there's no competition.
Real opposition to Sisi in the March election is likely to be thin on the ground. Potential candidates have either withdrawn or seen their candidacy blocked. Some have blamed an atmosphere of fear. Sisi swept to power in 2013 after a military coup propped up by a cult of personality that lasted through the 2014 election, where he obtained 97% of the vote. His rule has, however, been marked by a brutal crackdown on freedom of expression and civil liberties, economic turbulence, and increasing attacks by armed groups. He has jailed thousands of opponents, including many of those involved in the 2011 uprising that toppled Mubarak. Street protests have been effectively banned, human rights groups have been placed under severe restrictions, and many critics in the media have been silenced. His allies, however, dismiss accusations of abuse, saying his tactics are needed for security in the face of an insurgency in the North Sinai region that has expanded to include civilian targets.
Terrorism and violence have increased. So, the formula is not to, roll back freedoms and carry out campaigns of elimination. That's not the formula for security and stability and fighting terrorism.
While many dread 4 more years of Sisi at the helm of Egyptian leadership, some remain hopeful he can save the country. Egypt, they say, is simply too big to fail.
And in sport this morning, British number 1 Joanna Conte suffered a shock defeat by world number 123 Bernarda Pera in the second round of the Australia Open. The American won 6-4, 7-5 to claim only her second win at a Grand Slam level. 9th seed Conte had reached the quarterfinals and semifinals on her past 2 visits to Melbourne Park. She saved 4 match points but framed a smash on the 5th to give Pera the biggest win of her career. The 23-year-old lost in qualifying and only made it into the main draw of a slam for the first time as a lucky loser after another player withdrew through injury. The Croatian-born American goes on to face Czech 20th seed Barbora Strajkova. And now for a look at the weather forecast. Across St. Kitts and Nevis today, conditions will be fair to partly cloudy with a slight or 20% chance of showers. Seas are moderate with heights of 1.2 to 1.8 meters or 4 to 6 feet. An advisory remains in effect for sea bathers against rough sea conditions. Winds are east-northeast to east at 7 to 14 miles per hour. The sea level pressure is 1,016.2 millibars or 30.01 inches. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:35 a.m. and set today at 5:58 p.m. Across the rest of the eastern Caribbean, a surface high-pressure system will maintain partly cloudy skies with slight chances of showers today across Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and the Leeward Islands. However, available low-level moisture and marginal instability could trigger a few passing showers tonight across the islands. Additionally, a low-level trough is expected to increase the chances of showers across the southern Windward Islands and Trinidad and Tobago from tonight. And that wraps up the news presentation. Before we go, a recap of this morning's top stories. Nationally, police are hunting down a house-breaking violent sexual predator. Internationally, Egypt's President Sisi is expected to run for office again this year. And in sport, British tennis number 1 Joanna Conte has been knocked out of the Australian Open. I've been your presenter, Ebony Brandon. Thanks for tuning in. Still to come, Carib Update.